and welcome to my third Dolby Atmos setup video. This video is focused on configuring Pro Tools. In a previous video, we already set up the renderer, so make sure you look at those earlier videos on monitoring and the renderer before you get to this one. So with Pro Tools up and ready to go, make a session if you haven't already. Make sure it is 48 kilohertz. 48 kilohertz will make it compatible with both the renderer and our Dadman settings and our Matrix I/O. But setups, first place you want to go to Peripherals. The last tab on the right here is the Dolby Atmos tab. Make sure you enable it, and at least here at Nescom, set it so it is talking to WWC Audio C local. This is configuring Pro Tools to talk to the renderer. Without this, it will not function, so definitely want to do that. Cool. Next thing, go to the edit window, and if you haven't done so already, get Yukon turned on so it can talk to the S6. If you can't see that, open up on the upper right here in the edit window and make sure Yukon is visible, and then you can click on it, make it green, and that will enable the console to talk to Pro Tools. Okay, next thing, the I/O, the all-important I/O. And if you're experienced with the I/O in Pro Tools, just to warn you, it's totally different when it comes to Atmos. What I would do is go through and delete anything you might already have in your session. Example here, I'm going to delete all these outputs, and I'm going to delete all my buses. And down here on the bus tab, you want to switch it to, I would suggest, use Dolby Atmos Renderer Stereo. You're definitely going to want to do this. It kind of loads. Make sure everything is Atmos friendly. When you go back and you default your outputs, you can see it's now created a 10-channel 7.1.2 Dolby Atmos bed, and it's created objects, which is great. Do the same with buses, hit default. So now it's all ready for Atmos, and this is all done because I went and chose Dolby Atmos Renderer Stereo. So definitely need to do that. Before you exit the I/O, set your default output bus. So any mono, aux send, or track, or whatever you create goes to the bed, the Atmos bed by default. And I would do this with stereo as well. If you create anything stereo, it will naturally go to the bed as well. I wouldn't dive in and start configuring other channel counts and where they automatically go. If you need to use these, you can configure them yourself. So hit OK. So I/O is done. We need to create a few specific tracks. I'm going to go to the mix window here. First thing I'm going to make is a mono aux input. And I'm going to call that BIN for binaural settings. And I'm going to load a specific, and notice how it's defaulted to the bed. You need to make sure it feeds the bed. And I'm going to put a very particular plugin on this. It's under Dolby Laboratories, Dolby Atmos binaural settings. Don't have to do anything at the moment with this, just need to make sure it's there. Now we're going to make another mono aux input, Command-Shift-N, mono, arrow down, aux input. And this one I'm going to call TC. This is going to have the timecode generator on it. And I'm going to send this one to a particular object. And this is kind of interesting. You want to make sure that the objects are visible in the mix window. And you're going to want to send it to object 128. Now, why 128? Because we configured that in the previous video. And click this orange button here and make it bright orange so it's on object mode. It is now feeding 128. And I have not put the plugin on yet, so let's do that. Go up here again under Dolby Labs, find the timecode generator, LTC generator, put that on there. Nothing to configure, but it is set to 24 frames per second, and we need to make sure Pro Tools is set to 24 frames per second. So go to Setup, Session, Command-2 if you want to open it up, and make sure you've got your timecode frame rates here, at least the top one, set to 24 frames per second. With this all done, you should be all configured and ready to go. And in my next video, I will demonstrate using Atmos for the first time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.